Hello and welcome to the Blockade podcast. I am your host Mirden, and today on the co-host desk we have Mellowcat, and our guest today is Aggrogahu.
Hello.
So, Aggro, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. So I think I'm more known as a mapper at in the Beat Saber community. I do a bunch of casual slash dancey maps. And then I'm also known for doing a lot of K-pop songs as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a pretty popular YouTube channel where I post K-pop playthroughs, or at least playthroughs of K-pop maps onto YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also a pretty active member of the Audica community, which I'm not sure if everyone knows, but Audica is a shooting um, rhythm shooter. I guess that's what they call it.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I do maps for that, and I contribute to the community over there as well.
How active would you say, like in comparison from Beat Saber and Audica, are you? Are you more so uh involved in Beat Saber, or would you say that you split your time between them pretty equally?
Try to split my time equally, although just because like the sheer popularity difference of Beat Saber, I end up doing more Beat Saber content
Yeah.
and projects. Like if I posted an Audica video to my YouTube channel, it would get like a fraction of the views. So like as much as I love Audica, like it's just like more of the viewers, more of the players are in Beat Saber. So
Right.
just naturally, I end up doing more Beat Saber projects.
Okay. What is your background with K-pop? Did you grow up with it, or was it something that you got into?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I knew some friends in real life that were into K-pop. And then so I knew it was popular, but it was never a thing that I was too into, at least when I first started playing Beat Saber. And then the first map that I made was actually a K-pop song, just because like, oh, nobody has made it, so might as well try it myself. And then I think from there I just kind of got sucked in. It's like one of those fandoms where it's like once you dip your toes into it, you just get like sucked in and engulfed
Yeah.
into it. But yeah, like um in general I like all genres of music. Like I used to be pretty big into J-pop.
Hmm.
Um and then once I started listening into K-pop, like I started finding some groups and artists that I really liked. And yeah, I guess I'm a K-pop stan now. It's it's kind of weird, like for some reason I don't think of K-pop as my main shtick, even though like that's kind of what it's become.
Okay.
Um like I kind of just got like pigeonholed into doing K-pop maps.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look at my catalog of maps that I've done for Beat Saber, like I know my first one was K-pop, but then I like dabbled with other J-pop, and
I
then I have
did.
like some
I did actually go
lessons
through
that's real.
your map list, and I saw. I think Real was. I think your second map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did see
And
some
then you can
J-pop in
kind
there.
of
Yeah.
see, yeah. So there's some J-pop in there, and then like eventually there's a point where it's like I went back to K-pop, and then from there on it was nothing but K-pop,
Yeah.
basically.
And the rest was history. You became addicted.
Yeah. But yeah, I love Ryol. Like I think like she's popular to like a lot of people, no matter like what your affinity is, I guess.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I don't
definitely.
even know what genre Real is. I just enjoy the music.
I would. Well, J-pop. I would say is the genre, like pop
Is Real
music.
J-pop? Wow,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I would say so.
Yeah, she falls under the broad umbrella of J-pop, but um yeah, there's different styles of J-pop within that umbrella, and I would say Ryol is pretty unique.
Yeah, she leans more towards like an electronic dance music sort of
Mm.
That's what I was thinking.
denomination.
Yeah. A noticeable amount of K-pop maps do incorporate some type of dancing, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, a dance map, that must be tech." But and, we've talked to who was it, Monty in the past, where he said, people are confusing dance maps with tech maps.
Yeah.
So if you were to like say what map you've made or a map that anyone else has made that incorporates like choreography, if any chance, would you say that there's a thing like that out there or no?
For sure. Like, yeah, so that's actually one of the main things that I'd always try to do with my K-pop maps.
Hmm.
And then some of my other maps as well, is if there's a I'll look at the choreography that they made for the song, like for the official song.
Yeah.
And if there's like a unique, like um iconic dance move that I can somehow capture, like maybe not like one for one recreate or just kind of capture the essence of it, then I'll try to incorporate as much of that in my maps as possible. And usually, um, it's actually interesting that you said that some people confuse tech with dancing, which I guess I'm not too sure what tech was like. So I guess that's something that we can discuss. So at least in my mind, tech mapping is like weird angles and like putting notes on the top row that usually aren't on the top row.
Yeah.
Is that a fair? Is that a?
Basically, like sometimes people see a side note directly after like a down note, and
Hmm.
they just like we'll call it tech.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess tech is kind of thrown around,
Yeah.
but yeah. So like, at least what I understood of tech is just like some odd angles. Um, I guess that's the gist of it. But yeah, so I guess if we're talking about like what I consider dance, it's probably one aspect is what beats you end up mapping. So I know I think a lot of K-pop maps, at least ones that I've seen like done by other people, is that they'll strictly map to the lyrics or like the vocal melody.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
whereas a lot of times I'll look at what beats the choreography decides to emphasize. Like, so
Right.
sometimes their hand movements or their leg movements, they'll match with what the vocals are doing, but sometimes or oftentimes it's actually emphasizing what's going on with the background beats, whether that's the drum or the bass or something like that. So
Right.
I think, so one way you can characterize dance maps is that a lot of times they'll go to the beat instead of strictly to what the vocal rhythm is doing. And I think you could actually go all the way back to like the maps that Benny the Beast did.
Yeah.
And then so you compare that style of mapping where it's um sometimes it's not even like to define a beat in the song, it's just the downbeat always. I guess like so Benny would always focus on like the strong downbeats um and then create a map around that and then compare that to the vocal maps where it's just strictly following what the vocal melody is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's one main characteristic of what a dance map is like. Also, I forget. So, what was the main question again? I kind of went on a tangent, but
Um.
I was asking like if you've incorporated dance into your maps.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So I guess yeah. So that's one way I incorporate the dance into my maps is I'll look up the choreography and see what beats they emphasize, and then I'll be sure to emphasize them within the maps. And then sometimes I do, if it's comfortable in Beat Saber, then I will go ahead and try to one for one recreate a motion. Um, and sometimes it's like uncomfortable to maybe today's mapping standards. Like I sometimes I'll put in a lot of duck walls, and I know like a lot of players these days don't like duck walls, but um, if it's in the choreography and it's like a pretty iconic part of it, then I'll throw it in there.
Yeah, squatting never hurt anyone unless you do like a bunch of squat maps before and you get stuck, like me.
Yeah.
Are there any maps that come to mind that you really enjoy that are dance maps?
Maps of mine or just maps in general?
Actually, in general and yours, either work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think um, if we're looking at my maps that I've made and like which ones are dance maps, the one that comes to mind like right away is Harajuku Yahoe, like from Kyari Pamu Pamu.
Okay.
Um, which it's only expert. Um, like I could have actually mapped it even more, but I think that one I mapped purely to be a dance map. And then there's a part in the chorus where I guess I have to sing it. There's no other way to describe it. But there's a
Okay.
part in the chorus where the vocals are like "hoi, hoi," like that.
Uh-huh.
And then I recreated the choreography into the Beat Saber map. And that actually um that map ended up being one of my more popular ones, which I'm really proud of because it's kind of an obscure song, I guess. Like everyone knows Pon 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 from Kyari Pamu Pamu,
Okay.
which I also mapped. Um, but I really liked Harajuku Iahoi, and then I'm glad that whoever stumbled upon that map really liked it. Because that's one of my more popular maps as well.
I do know that the Japanese Beat Saber scene does like absolutely adore dance maps.
Mm.
So I could see how they probably like stumbled upon it and provided a lot of I guess traffic to it.
Yeah, I think that that is one of the maps that like if you look it up on YouTube, you'll see a lot of the Japanese community doing playthroughs of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of my maps that I when you say dance map, that's the
mhm.
one that I think of.
Okay. Have you yourself actually put time into like learning specific K-pop dances?
Yeah, actually, I made that a New Year's resolution today. Or I mean, this not today, but I made that a New Year's resolution for this year.
Okay.
Um, to actually sit down and try to learn some of these choreographies.
Yeah.
Because like um, I wouldn't consider myself a dancer, but I wouldn't say I'm a slouch either. Like um, in my high school, yeah, in my high school years, I did some basic choreography, um, and then so I have experience there. And then like I'm a musical person, so I have the rhythm too. But so yeah, this year I made it a resolution to actually try to learn them. Um, it's super fun, but some of them are so intense.
Yeah.
Like I I'll do like one course, or not even a course, just a half of it, and like I'm out of breath. Like you think you need stamina for playing Beat Saber, but like once you're doing some of these boy group choreographies, it gets really intense.
Yeah, sometimes my friends like to pull up videos of just people practicing in a dance studio, and that shit definitely looks intense.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's like now that you mentioned like people making videos of practicing, that's actually a pretty cool part of the K-pop culture
Yeah.
is that fans will learn the choreographies of the songs and then like just post videos of themselves doing it.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that was actually a thing that I wanted to get into as well. Like one aspect of K-pop culture that I wanted to familiarize myself with. Um, and it was a good challenge and it's good exercise too. Because like when you're playing Beat Saber, it's mostly just your arms, unless you're playing Fit Beat. But yeah, so it's definitely a good cardio.
So you mentioned that you have a background with like K-pop, J-pop, and just pop in general. Who's your bias? Like you'd mentioned stan culture too earlier. Like
Yeah.
what group is your go-to?
So at least for K-pop, my ultimate group would be Red Velvet, and then my bias from Red Velvet is Wendy. Um, and it's because she's she's an amazing vocalist. Like she came out with a solo album just recently,
Hmm.
and it's all focused on like just her vocal ability. So she does amazing on that album. And she's also from Canada.
I was
Like
wondering if like you were gonna bring up the. I remember like seeing a video passed around of her on like a game show, and and
yeah,
that was my introduction to Red Velvet, and I actually had gone and listened to their music after that.
yeah, I think that's actually that video is probably one of the reasons that um I decided to make her my bias. Because like I mean, um I think it's a lot easier to relate to some of the idols that um, speak English, especially if they grew up in an area closer to where you grew up.
Right.
So yeah, I think I felt I was. I mean, obviously, like a relation between a fan and like an idol is like super far
Parasocial.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, parasocial. But um, within that context, I was able to relate to her more.
Yeah.
And then I just respect her as far as like, um, yeah, what she's able to do as far as her contributions to the group. Um, and yeah,
I agree with the fact that it is super interesting to see somebody like from your culture finding success in another culture, even if she's already like her family is already Korean, right?
hmm
Yeah, so um even if like she's Korean, she grew up in a Western culture, so it's interesting to like see somebody finding uh success in a completely different culture than yours, but like you still have if you feel like they're like kind of like a bridge between cultures essentially.
yeah, and it's and then the fact that like some of these idols are like pretty close to age to what we are, and then it's just yeah, this is just a path that they decided to take. And yeah, so it's like, oh, like these people are kind of pretty much around the same age as we are. So it's like you could kind of um it sounds bad, but it humanizes them more. I mean, I know they're
Yeah.
human, but
No, yeah, absolutely. It kind of feels like they are bringing you along uh on their journey as sort of like are looking at things through your lens as they
Mm,
experience this like different lifestyle.
yep. And yeah, that's exactly how you get sucked in to
Yeah,
all of this. Because like they'll post like behind the scenes stuff to their Instagram,
right.
so you get like a glimpse into their daily lives and things like that. Um, yeah, that's how you get stands.
Just hearing that kind of makes me interested. I'll be honest, I really don't follow K-pop all that much, or just like J-pop at all. You're kind of selling me on it. I kind of want to check it out a little more after this, just to be honest with you.
She seems pretty cool.
But yeah, yeah. Also, just to move on to the next question, did you see like a spike in like among K-pop cliques or anything like that in the Beat Saber community when the BTS pack came out? Because I know people freaked out when they announced the BTS pack. Even like K-pop stans that had no idea what that did not know what Beat Saber was were like tweeting on like I guess tweeting on Twitter is kind of like repeating myself, but blowing up on Twitter,
Mm.
going like, "Oh my God, they have BTS in a game now." Did you notice any of that?
Yeah, I mean like so even before then I was already posting videos of BTS, so I kind of already knew that popularity spike was gonna come. And then so when the day the pack came out, I did a stream on YouTube.
Hmm.
And then it was actually one of my biggest streams that I've ever done. So yeah, there was definitely an influx of I guess eyes on Beat Saber once the BTS pack came out. Um, and then I've been trying to cater to that ever since. Like so several of my BTS videos have gotten over like 1 million views.
Yeah.
Um,
Jeez.
yeah, so yeah, the BTS army, that's what they call that's what the fans call themselves. Like they're you definitely cannot underestimate the amount of impact that they have on just social media in general.
Yeah, I think one of the probably uh I don't know if I want to like include politics too much into this, but I think one of the funniest things I've ever seen K-pop stans do is sell out the Donald Trump rally so that nobody would show up.
Yeah. Yeah, that it's like a power that you can harness to do whatever you want.
I remember hearing about that. I thought that was hilarious.
I remember like some like a media anchor was just like he got played by kids.
Yeah, and then yeah, not even yeah, so there's that Trump rally and then I think there's several other things where like if there's a hashtag that's trending on Twitter that like is more or less along the sides of like the far right or something like that,
They'll-
like K-pop Twitter will just hijack that
Oh
and
my
then
god,
post like fan cams.
that's great. How did you actually feel about Beat Games' delivery of the BTS music pack?
Um, so let's see. I guess so. We'll start off with the mapping, and then I think I'll try to comment on other things too.
Yeah,
Um, so um, I know they actually did their best to try to incorporate a lot of the choreography.
mm,
Oops, my bad. So I accidentally hit my microphone. So yeah, so B Games they put a lot of effort into trying to recreate the choreography. And I think if you're a fan and you know those choreographies, you'll recognize them and it'll be like, hey, that's cool.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so like there's but if you're just kind of playing through them, you won't immediately notice it. But it's just kind of like cool Easter eggs for the fans that do know the choreography. Um, so I think in that regard they did well. Um, I actually think I don't know if the fixes went through, but I think there were several errors that got through,
ooh,
like like random double ups here and there. But I think that was due to just like this them trying to get out this patch. I think they were like on a deadline and pretty much crunch time. So
yeah,
some some mistakes like got through the cracks because they were trying to focus on like oh make sure that the little avatars that are flying around that there's no bugs with that system
yeah,
and all these issues that they have to um, worry about when it comes to such a huge music licensing such a huge band or group.
yeah,
So yeah, so with that, a lot of random mapping errors came through, but I think they eventually fixed those. Um, and yeah, they are dance maps. So if you're looking for like some like 300 BPM like challenging tech maps, then that's not the pack for you.
yeah,
But yeah, but I think they did a pretty okay job with that. So the mapping. Um, what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, I don't think anyone likes the flying BTS avatars, but
I was wondering about that because they seem like they would be a little distracting.
yeah, I think that's kind of the consensus. But I think yeah, like it's a nice touch and like people spectating it from like either watching a playthrough on YouTube or on a stream or something like that. Like if you're a BTS fan, you can appreciate that. But I also have to assume that so much development work went into getting them into the game
Yeah,
that I don't know if all of that effort was worth it in the end.
hmm,
But I think Beat Saber mappers could kind of relate to that, just putting hours and hours into something that will only get appreciated like by a few people.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's just content creation in general. Like a bunch of YouTubers lament over like how they will put like months into this really big project and then they'll just release a shit post after that and the shit post gets way more views and it just took them like an hour.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
that's
that.
yeah, I feel that at the core. And then it kind of goes into what I do with K-pop as well.
Hmm.
And then this translates to any artist in general. So if it's a popular song, then it'll get a lot of views. Um, so it's like, oh, do I even waste time with like some of the obscure K-pop artists that I like, but then I know that they don't get millions of views. So there's a bit of a dilemma there as well.
We actually I'm going to be releasing Logan's interview that we did 2 weeks ago pretty soon where he actually did comment on that saying like sometimes if you want to grow your brand you have to grind out the stuff that you don't want to do, which one of our other co-hosts Dandy, she was like really like taken aback by this because she had been like told like, oh, if you want to be a content creator just do what you
Just do what you
love
like.
and eventually as long as you are genuine and you are doing what you love, eventually people will start following you. And then we had LS Toast saying like, yeah, if you want to grow, sometimes you just got to do the stuff you don't want to do. And like she was really surprised to hear that.
No, it definitely makes sense. Like, you do have to do what's popular or what's trending to at least get your brand out there
Yeah,
initially. Because otherwise organic growth would be like really, really slow,
yeah,
or it just might not happen at all. Um, but then yeah, so if you do happen to catch like the viral wave, and your content is interesting enough at its foundation, then you can catch that wave and then grow from there.
yeah. With Logan's case, it's more so just like focus on short form content, and then maybe he'll be able to make other videos down the road once he has a following that likes him for him, instead of just
Mm,
watching him for just the fact that he just makes short form content.
yeah. As opposed to, hey, it's the da 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 guy.
Yeah.
Hey man, check out my new video. Can you play da da da? Oh, okay.
I think he even
It'd be like
has
that.
like 5 to 6 or 7 like different iterations of the da 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 video, and they all get the most views. Like I think he even one time did a video where he was just like, I don't get any views except for when I make da 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 videos, where that was like the title, and then it's just him doing the da 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 song with just like a different gimmick to it, and yeah, that got a lot of views too.
Yeah. It's it's something that I guess like coming back to my channel, like so my da 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 the equivalent of that would be like either BTS or Blackpink videos.
Right.
So it's like I can either put out a bunch of BTS and Blackpink videos until like I run out of content, or I can make videos of songs that I think are really unique in the K-pop scene from like artists that are up and coming. And it's like, are yeah. So it's like, what do I do? But yeah, it's about finding that balance of like, um, sprinkling in the BTS videos, here and there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think nowadays I'm kind of in the mood of like I'm just gonna work on what I want until the next BTS video comes out, or not video, like their next release,
Right.
which is actually gonna be later this month, I think, like either on the 20th or the 27th, I forget. But yeah, that's kind of what the mood I'm in right now is. I'm not gonna put any effort into other videos until then because I know like I'm just waiting for the big releases.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I actually had a friend that um I when I introduced Beat Saber to her, she wasn't like too into it, but I know that she is fairly into K-pop. So one video of yours actually that she absolutely adored was your backdoor video for Stray
Mm.
Kids, and she loved it so much that she tracked down I think one of your discords that had the like download link for that track, and she got me to play it in like a Discord stream.
Ah, nice. Yeah, it's I feel bad because that's one of the things that I do is sometimes I'll just make a map only for my YouTube channel, like, and I don't even release it on Beat Saber, which I have reasons behind it because like I feel bad posting expert only maps to Beat Saber.
Really?
Um, yeah, if you notice, like most of my maps, they have at least up to hard, or for the majority of them, they have at least up to hard. Um, so what I'll do is, um, I'll make a map for a video, and then it's expert plus only because like obviously that's the level that I play at.
Yeah.
And then I kind of leave it in this work in progress limbo, where I just post it to the K-pop Discord, and then I'll say like, "Oh, I'll upload it to Beat Saber when I get around to finishing the lower difficulties of it." Um, but of course, I have like 10 maps that are like that, stuck
Hmm.
stuck in a work in progress limbo. Because I make the map for it, and then I make a video for it, and then I just kind of put it aside. So yeah, I feel I feel bad, but I mean that's just um how I can best um, manage my time, like still put content as quickly as possible. But yeah, so I feel bad because like it makes those maps really hard to track down. Like you have to come to the Discord and then you have to install it manually because I know a lot of the viewers on my channel, they're like Quest users. So
Yeah,
they're used to using like BF, that's what it's called, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So they're used to using that, which leverages Beat Saber or B Saber. So when they come to see my maps and then they're like in a zip file, they're like, "Oh, what do I do with this?" So
Yeah.
yeah. So some of my maps are pretty hard to track down, and I feel bad for that, but that's just how I do things.
Going back to K-pop maps that Beat Games has made, what do you think made a bigger impact on the game for K-pop Beat Saber, KDA or BTS?
Mm. Um. Well, so I'm not even sure if I would say that they had an impact on the community as far as like K-pop mappers.
Okay.
I think well, yeah, because the K-pop mappers like we just kind of took the songs that we liked and wanted to see in the game and then we put them in the game. But as far as like I guess if I can rephrase the question like which one had more impact in general, the KDA map or the BTS pack?
Yeah.
Um, hmm. I think at least from what I've seen in the Beat Saber community in general, or like the players that frequent the Discord and Twitch and stuff like that, I think a lot more of them were excited for when KDA came out. Because
Okay.
even though it was K-pop, it was also like League of Legends, and then there were also like a lot of other Western artists on there too.
Right.
So, so there was a lot of Western appeal with that song, and then that was kind of like um, people's first introduction into K-pop. Um, so I think as far as bringing players into K-pop or like being being exposed to K-pop, I think KDA um, was more impactful. Like or pop stars from KDA was more impactful because I think
Right.
one it was like it comes with the game actually. So like
Yeah.
you didn't have to pay for it if you didn't want to. Um, so like yeah, so a lot of people they were able to play it. Even the poor PS4 users
Yeah,
who don't get
PSVR.
custom songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were able to get that as well early on. So yeah, I think as far as um, bringing more exposure to K-pop, I think Pop Stars was more impactful.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that like one of the first DLC maps that came out? It was free, of course, but like, wasn't it one of like the first added-on maps, I believe?
Yeah, yeah, one of the first additional maps that came, like it was like OST 1, and then it was Pop Stars.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that was another aspect to look at it too, is that it was one of the new songs that they added
Yeah.
when it was only OST ones or custom songs that you
You
had.
can only play $100 bills a number of times before it gets boring, you know?
Yeah.
So, K-pop groups, if you had to see them compete with each other in Beat Saber, who would you like to see like in a tournament for like a K-pop Beat Saber tournament?
Let's see. I would probably see like a lot of the guy groups. So let's throw BTS in there. Um NCT, like they're another group that I'm trying to think of like groups that already have their songs in some other games. Because I know NCT has like a song in Just Dance.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Um which I did a map for that song. So it was Kick It. So NCT's song Kick It is in Just Dance. And then I actually did a map for that in Beat Saber as well. Of course that's a work in progress map that hasn't been released yet. But um yeah, I think and NCT they're pretty known for their like dance skills. So I'd like to see them try out Beat Saber as well. Um yeah, I would probably just be name dropping all the popular groups. So like
Yeah.
Blackpink, because it's actually pretty funny seeing like the artist um play their songs in a game, play their
Right.
own songs in a game. Because I think um y'all have seen Camellia recently start streaming and picking up Beat Saber.
It has been
Yeah.
such a fun experience. I feel
Yeah.
so giddy and happy watching him like learning the game.
Yeah. And it's his own songs too.
Yeah.
So he gets so hype. Yeah,
Um
so those moments are so cool. So like whichever artists like have their songs in the game, like I'd like to see them try it out.
correct me if I'm wrong, but um doesn't Stray Kids like don't they do their own like music? They don't have like a producer that like produces the music for them. They're not strictly just like vocalists. They're also like they also do the music behind like their works.
Yeah, I think I'm not too knowledgeable of it, but I know Bang Chan, like the quote unquote leader of the group, I know he's a producer. So I'm not sure like which songs are to his credit. Um, but yeah, so I know Stray Kids is one of the groups where like their members have a hand in
The music
the
production
production of
process.
their song. Yeah.
So that being the case, I would wonder that if they would be like decent at a rhythm game too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, there's several groups. I know G Idol. So actually so KDA um some of the members or two of the members of KDA are from G Idol.
Right.
And then Soyeon, I believe was her name. She's the rapper that is featured on KDA, but she's also the leader of G Idol.
Hmm.
And I know she does a lot of production and like songwriting actually. So she's just like talented across the board. She's singer, rapper, producer. So I'm sure if she stepped into VR and had her hand at Beat Saber, like she'd be able to pick it up right away.
Yeah. Let's ignore for a second that KDA does actually have actual musicians behind them. What KDA member would you love to see collab with a K-pop group?
Mm, let's see. So are we talking about the League of Legends characters then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Um, I think just from watching the video, like I just love it would be a toss up between Akali, and then what's her
Evelyn?
name? What's no, the fox.
Oh, Ari.
Ari, yeah. Right as you said it, it came to mind. I think I'm just kind of biased between those two. Um,
In
but I think
the
I like their character design, as well as their parts in the song.
in the lore of the group, Kaisa is also like the dance choreographer.
Oh yeah, so I forget that there's a lawyer for KDA as well.
Yeah.
Who's what's Akali's role in KDA?
Um, I don't think I know enough
Mm.
about her, actually. I just know that Kaisa is the dance choreographer.
Oh, okay, I see. Um, oh, and then I forget there's so with their most recent song they added a new member, or at least
Yeah,
featured a new member.
Seraphine. Yeah.
Yeah. She's all right too. Um, so the artist behind her, I think it was Lexi Liu, I believe. She's actually really amazing too. So I guess if I could change my answer, I would like to see more stuff from her as well.
Okay.
Because I think I only looked into a couple of her songs, but I think she's an amazing artist as well. So just throw her in a K-pop group as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I want to see Cho'Gath join KDA. That's the
Who
only
would
character I know from League.
yeah, who would be the artist behind them?
Hmm.
Oh shoot. Yeah, I'm just joking. I have no idea what, like, I don't play League at all. I just know Cho'Gath and that I would get eaten by him a lot.
Just
Just put
get
him in
I
KDA,
need to look
boom.
him up actually. Let me
just
see.
get all the other Void champions like Kha'Zix, Vel'Koz, and what's his name? Kog'Maw.
Just get Cho'Gath and like get a random like death metal vocalist
Oh, they
behind
actually
him.
League of
That'd be
Legends
kind of
actually
cool.
does have a death metal group. They
Oh, do
they
they?
they create they well, I don't know if you call it, well, I guess you could call it death metal. Uh since League of Legends characters kill each other. Uh they have basically metal related skins for characters. So Karthus is the singer. Olaf, which is a character that throws like axes. He's carrying two axes and he throws them as like his ability set. With his metal skin, they converted his axes into drumsticks. Um, they have Mordekaiser, who always carries around this giant mace. The mace is now like an electric guitar. Yorick is also somebody who carries around a shovel since he's like a gravedigger champion. His shovel is like a bass guitar, and basically they have like this entire group where they've even released like two albums. League of Legends has released two albums for this group, and like full blown music videos, and they're really good.
Yeah, so Riot Games is already way ahead of us.
Riot Games, like right off the bat, was just like on it with making like music or just like converting their assets for their characters into like some form, like some art forms that
Mm.
I don't see really any other gaming company do. Um
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things that they do well. I remember like I was watching a video like behind the scenes of KDA pop stars,
yeah,
and I forget if it was in the video or if it was in another article, but apparently it was Riot Games that approached Beat Games first
okay.
in like because they were interested in getting their song in the game. It wasn't like Beat Saber devs going to Riot Games asking if they can use the song.
Yeah, that's an
The
interesting
yeah,
dynamic.
yeah. They're just constantly coming out with creative ways to promote their game.
Hmm. And then on the other hand, you see like the Overwatch League signs DJ Khaled.
Yeah. Yeah, Overwatch needs K-pop. They there was one event that they held in Korea where they had like Promise 9, which was a girl group. Pretty they're pretty popular. But they had them do a live performance for like their Overwatch event.
Uh-huh.
So at the very least they had that, but as far as like producing music videos and like original songs, like Riot Games has
The
Blizzard
Edge.
beat on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Okay. I actually do have a question that goes back to your backdoor video. Um, do you have any other ideas that you'd like to see come to life that you'd be comfortable with sharing that are similar to like incorporating um innovative ideas like how you used your walls to represent doors in your Beat Saber track?
Yeah, I feel bad. That's another map that I need to come out with. I'm actually well yeah, so I guess to give further context, there's in the song Backdoor um there's a sound sample of like a door knocking and opening, like creaking open,
Right.
and then that happens like right before the beat drop. And then um I made a noodle extensions map for my video where like the walls come in and it's basically a closed door and it's like it looks like a giant four with wall coming at you.
Yeah.
And then it stops and then once the door opens in the song, like the door opens in the or the walls open as well. So like um I think I was just lucky. Oh, sorry. I was just lucky that that such a unique song came out, and then it kind of like because of the way that the song was, that's how I got the idea for it.
Right.
Because sometimes like I'll try to think of like either gimmicks or like something really cool and unique that I can do for the next video. And then so that idea came out like pretty easily because it's like, oh, there's a sound of a door opening in the song. Let me make a door. Let me make a door open in the level.
Yeah.
Um, so that kind of just came out organically just because of the way the song was. Um, and then yeah, so it kind of depends on the song itself.
Yeah,
Um,
sometimes you'll hear something and something an idea will just pop into your head, but it's very dependent on the actual source material.
yeah. Yeah, so I guess I could kind of go into what my process is of when I like make a map or a video is like I'll look for little things that I can like either highlight or make um, a cool effect for. So like so with backdoor, it was like, oh, there's this door closing or opening. Let me make a door. Or I'll look at the music video of the song and see, oh, there's like cool fire effects when the chorus drops. So like, let me make a custom platform where I set everything on fire, things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do that for a lot of my videos. As far as things coming up, I already made a video. The video of this map already came out, but so it's called Make a Wish by NCT. I forget which like subgroup, but so it's from NCT. Um, and there's this part where like the audio rewinds very audibly.
Yeah.
Um, and then so I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I made it so that there's a bomb spiral during that part, and then once it starts rewinding, then the bomb spiral just starts moving backwards.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah. I can link it afterwards, but it's super cool. Because that's actually um that rewind part of the song like happens before the very last chorus. Um, so I made a video of that like forever ago, like when the song first came out. Um, but I'm only finally just getting around to like polishing the effects. So I redid the spiral and then I'm using it as a kind of like a learning map because um Reacts he actually put out a tweet recently where it's like we need more like creative and difficult uh note mods or
Oh
like
yeah, mod
mod charts.
charts. I saw Reacts post that.
Yeah, and then Monty like he reacted to that by coming out with his latest map.
Right.
Um,
That map
so
hurt me. Literally,
yeah,
I punched myself in the face playing that map.
yeah, that map's brutal. I think I wanted to post a score like the night it came out, and then I was like, oh, let me record my sight read of it and then post it because I think Monty would be interested in seeing that. But of course, my sight read was a fail, and then like the next like 10 tries after that were a fail too.
Oh no.
So it's like, okay, I'm gonna stop recording so I can save space on my computer. Um, but yeah, like React's put out that call to arms, so I'm like, okay, I've been sitting on this map for a while, so let me like put in a bunch of node mods into it and like see if I can release it sometime soon. So yeah, I'll be coming out with a mod chart with some node mods soon.
Oh yeah, so I don't know if you're aware of this, but Joetastic has been working on like custom platforms that have dancing
Mhm.
models in them. So like, have you
Yep.
seen any of the Persona 5 like the dance remix from those the dancing games?
Yeah.
Would you be able to see that like work out in any way with like K-pop maps in any chance?
Yeah, funny thing, I was asking I messaged Joetastic like, "Oh, how did you do those?" Not actually specifically for the dancing character models, but for like the dynamic camera movements because I was going to try to see if I can just use that for like general gameplay videos.
Huh.
But um as far as getting something like that into K-pop or for a K-pop map, so as far as getting something like that for a K-pop map, I think that would be kind of more difficult as far as getting like a 3D model because um, from what I understand, Joe like finds these models and like motion data online, like it's already made for like Miku Miku Dance.
Right.
Um, so like the data's already there, and then it's mostly just Joe converting it so that it works in Beat Saber.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty sure it would be a lot harder to find like 3D animation data for like a K-pop choreography because it's not like the K-pop stands use Miku Miku dance as well. I think it'd be really cool if that became a thing. But as far as I know, um, the K-pop fans they'll just post videos of themselves as opposed to like trying to translate that into motion capture data and then like put that into virtual avatars. I think it'd be really cool,
Wait,
but I think it'd be a lot harder to incorporate that.
I have an idea. You know the mod that Bandoot had commissioned where you put like input animations or like
The image
pictures,
asset.
image
Oh, Image
assets.
Factory, or yeah, I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
Image
yeah.
Factory, right?
Yeah. What if you had K-pop dancers on a video where they were behind a green screen? Do you think you would be able to import
Oh.
them like into the game so that
Just
like
put
during like your playthrough of the map, they're often like off to the side doing dance choreographies to the like timed exactly to the song, like how it's supposed to be.
yeah, that would definitely be doable. I think it wouldn't it might not look as good.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's see. I think you'd have to play around with it because it's just gonna be like a flat 2D like animation.
Right. Yeah.
So you could kind of make it stylistic so that it looks like a hologram or something. I don't know. But yeah, that kind of stuff is definitely possible. Like, because I mentioned it briefly, like how I made a custom platform, like where the stage comes on fire, like during the beat drop of the chorus.
Right.
So it's pretty easy to bring in assets so that it's timed with the map. So yeah, I think and then that's honestly something that wouldn't be too far of a stretch of like it's not something that like too outlandish. Like you would probably see that in a future video of mine if the concept of the song like actually supports that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I think we're getting to our last couple questions. So these aren't gonna be in like any specific correlation to what our like current conversations are, but they're just kind of
No
like,
transitions here.
yeah, no transitions. um, who are some other community members that map K-pop songs that you appreciate?
So I think so the person that comes to mind like right away is Simply Marvelous or
Okay.
Marvelously Simple, depending on if you're on Twitter, on, on Discord or something. But
Yeah.
he's been mapping K-pop for a really, really long time. And then I make like um I'm not sure exactly like how much, but I would say a good majority of the videos that I put on my channel are Marv maps as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, so and then obviously he's a pretty prominent member in the community. Like he's done ranking stuff as well. And then he's pretty active in the oceanic community, like Australia and New Zealand. Those island people. um, but yeah, and then he's also probably one of the only reasons why I've gotten better at playing Beat Saber because he'll come out with a K-pop map and then I'll want to make a video of it, but like say it has a whole bunch of one-handed jumps and
Yeah.
then so um me a casual player like I wasn't able to do those before, but then I really want to make a video for this new K-pop song that came out, so I have to I have
Play
to
it
force
over and
myself to
over
get
and over and
better.
over again. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So he's one of the reasons why I'm at the skill that I am today.
cool. Nice.
But yeah, so he's as far as mapping goes, he's one of the prominent contributors when it comes to K-pop maps. Um, as far as content creation goes, there's Lil Q Bunny, um, who does mixed reality K-pop videos
Yeah.
on YouTube. And then so she's also got a very popular channel. She's almost at 100K subscribers. And then maybe might have that by the time this episode comes out.
Sheesh.
But so she does a lot of contributions to the K-pop Beat Saber community. She actually she was actually the one who invited me into the K-pop Beat Saber Discord initially. I think um I probably wouldn't be as huge of a K-pop fan as I am now if it wasn't for me joining that server. So yeah, you can thank Lil Q Bunny and Marv for
Assimilating
me
you.
being yeah, exactly.
So mapping wise, to end it off for like, people that maybe are looking to map K-pop or someone who's now being commissioned to map K-pop and now they're like kind of like treading into new territory here. What groups would you say are easier to represent or more difficult to represent through mapping?
Hmm. Oh, so which like K-pop groups? Okay.
Yeah.
Um I want to say it's um I mean it sounds bad, but like K-pop is almost kind of well, I mean it's pop music, so I think you usually can't go wrong. Yeah, so for the most part, you can't go wrong when it comes to mapping K-pop in Beat Saber. So like if it's a pop song, there'll you typically be a pretty driving rhythm that makes it easy to map in Beat Saber. So it would mostly just go on a song by song basis. I think if anything, there's some K-pop groups that are like more alternative, like they have like guitars and bass and like they perform with the instruments live.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it kind of deviates. But I think as far as like if you're someone that all of a sudden was commissioned to do a K-pop map and then that's not something that you usually do. Um, it's I think if that mapper is kind of familiar with pop in general, then it should be easy enough to get into. But I think ultimately, um, I'm assuming that if someone came to you with a K-pop commission, it would be more or less within your ability or your mapping ability. Like you wouldn't go to hmm, I'm
Nothing
trying to
that's like 300 BPM. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Yeah, so like it wouldn't be like a new I would like to think it wouldn't be a new skill that you would have to pick up
Yeah.
as the mapper. Um and then I think even so, like even if you are typically a 300 BPM like ranked mapper tasked with a K-pop commission, I think you don't drop that actually. I think if they're coming to you for a commission, then you just kind of you you want to maintain that style because they came to you for a reason. So yeah, I think if you wanted to randomly get into K-pop, like I think if you're already an established mapper, you kind of know your style, and then so you don't have to adapt too much. But I think I guess if you're a new mapper, then you just kind of take the um, take the route that any new mapper would take when learning a map, where it's like you learn the basics, but then you also look at songs and maps that are already made that you kind of look up to and enjoy, and then you kind of borrow inspiration from those. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, I would
it.
say it answered it.
All right. Hello, do you have any closing comments?
Not much really. There was a lot of K-pop, and I'll be real with you, K-pop is not like my go-to genre or like anything I'm knowledgeable on. So this was really informative for me too. So like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be stuck on a really long car ride after this, so I'm probably gonna be listening to some K-pop. Do you have any recommendations for me, or maybe any listeners out there?
Yeah, definitely Red Velvet.
Red Velvet?
It's
Okay.
not just me being biased. But
I do like their songs.
yeah, Red Velvet is great because they cover a lot of genres. Like they'll go from like typical K-pop, but then they'll go into like Western R&B, and then they'll go into like bubblegum, like super happy stuff. But they always have like there's a lot of clever production that goes behind those songs. And then there's always something interesting going on with the vocal parts as well. So Red Velvet definitely. Um
Then you got like the mainstream groups like Blackpink, Twice,
mhm.
BTS.
Yeah, so Blackpink, they're good as well. I think they're more of a okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and say it. So they're kind of a one-trick pony, or they're more of a one-trick pony, at least if you're comparing them to Red Velvet.
Right.
Like a lot of their songs will be like trap EDM thing, and then In Your Face. But they do have a lot of other good songs that are of a different type. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead and give them a listen as well. Um, I'm trying to think. Well, so like what songs would you listen to typically? Like what songs are in your playlist rotation from day to day?
Oh,
Dale's
definitely.
House.
Probably Kawaii bass, future bass.
Oh, okay.
Some EDM is in there. Some like old school pop and all that stuff. So I don't
Yeah,
know if that
then
gives you
I
much to work with there.
yeah, yeah, I think if you kind of like the bubblegum J-pop, then you can probably enjoy some of like the girl crush concept groups. So that would include Twice. So like they're the other big female group. So a lot of their early stuff is like a lot of, I mean, so I use the term girl crush, so that's kind of like a blanket term in K-pop to um, describe like a style where it's like kind of really super poppy and like peppy and happy. So a lot of Twice's early stuff is like that. Um, yeah, yeah, I guess you can't really go wrong with a lot of the mainstream artists.
All right. Have to give them a listen then. I'm gonna be stuck in a car later, so I'm definitely gonna be hiding in the back with my AirPods, getting into it, just listening to it.
Nice. We'll see if you get sucked in and become a stan as well.
Oh no.
Oh
Make my
no.
account a Stan account and just post fan cams every day.
Yeah. You're gonna be choosing your bias, learning the choreography.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh boy.
Uh,
It has begun.
I
It has
was
begun.
I was told to ask this further question if you were like super I got the question who is your bias from my friend that is like more into the K-pop scene than I am. Um and they said like ask this question if they're like super into the who's your bias question. Do you have a bias wrecker?
Bias worker. Nice. Okay, so I guess to give more context. So I mean, I guess we've been talking about bias, but so bias is like basically who's your favorite member from a given group.
Right.
I guess you can say from K-pop in general. And then bias wrecker would be who's the other member or who's the other K-pop idol that is questioning your choices behind choosing your initial bias. So, at least from it actually is like super hard to choose a bias from Red Velvet. Um, but so Wendy is my bias. My bias wrecker would honestly be Silgi. Because I actually think she's the one with the best vocal ability. I think, well, actually, you could kind of put Wendy and Silgi like on the same level. Um, but I guess Wendy is more known for like her um like improv, like the rest of the group will be singing the chorus and then there's Wendy going off on a high note or something like that.
Right.
Um, and then Silky is just like all around well-rounded vocalist. So that I respect. So she she would be my bias wrecker. And then she's also like one of the best dancers in the group too. Things you consider when you're a K-pop stan.
Right. All right. Well, Aggro, I appreciate you giving us your time to come on today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun.
I appreciate it. And to everybody listening out there, thank you for watching and have a good one.
Later.